Right, good evening, everybody. My name's Peter James Robinson. I'm the district governor for 21, up until the end of this next coming month. We've only got 42 days left, but it seems to be picking up now. My diary is getting full and fuller. You've done some great work during this COVID-19, food banks, hospices, planting trees, plants, picking litter up, raffles, helping the community in lots of different ways. And we've got one coming up shortly called Rotary Kids in Bolton. It's not about me tonight, it's about you. You're going to learn something tonight. And tomorrow we've really two great speakers in Eric and Nicki. They're very, very professional people, far better than me, far better than anybody we've got. But you're doing a great, great job. Keep doing what you're doing, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Peter. As you said, you've got, by my calculation, 43 days, 4 hours and 45 minutes left as district governor before you become an exalted past district governor. It's been quite an extraordinary year for you. Not what you envisaged when you started your journey to become district governor. It's a difficult year for everyone. My training's been on Zoom. Most club meetings have been on Zoom. We have done lots of things online this year, but yeah, it's been very good. It's been good evening and welcome to everyone else to what is now our second virtual district assembly during the lockdowns, and hopefully perhaps our last virtual assembly during lockdowns. Tonight I'm joined by some of the rest of the team really, and we've actually got a district governor nominee for next year, Swati Mukherjee, joining us, and she's going to be doing a question and answer session at the end for you. So please pop your questions into the Q&A as we go on through the evening, and we'll gather those together at the end of the night, and we'll pose them to the panel that are here tonight. We're all working together to have a 3-year plan. So myself and Kevin, who follows me, and then Swati, have a 3-year plan to get some continuity. So we've actually got some long-term plans for the year. I've also got some presentation tonight from Phil Dyer, the membership team leader, public image team leader, Irene, leadership development and training team leader. Roger will be back at the end. Our keynote speakers for joining us tomorrow night are Rotary International Director-elect Nicki Scott and Rotary International Chief Philanthropy Officer Eric Schmelling. So they're doing 2 presentations tomorrow evening. I hope you can join us for both of these sessions. So really, as we'll see from my title slide, we've actually called this event A New Dawn. I see that as being quite sort of appropriate as we're beginning to emerge from what seems like a long period of dark and dismal times during lockdown. And hopefully we can see some light at the end of the tunnel now, as we kind of come yawning and stretching out of lockdown and hope for some brighter days ahead, really. Start to plan for some summer days, for getting back together face to face. Start planning, hopefully there'll be some face-to-face Rotary projects and some fellowship. We're very near the start of the new Rotary year. Most of us are making plans how we're going to adapt to the new normal, whether that's visiting friends and family, giving someone a hug, going down the pub, whatever it is. And thank you for attending tonight. I suppose having a nice evening in the pub garden, so it's a good to have you all here for that as well. We're going to give you some ideas over the next couple of nights, give you some inspiration to make plans for your club activities and Rotary service projects over the next year. I know we've kind of closed everything down for the last year, but I think now is the time to start making plans and hope we can come out of it and there are no more lockdowns or no more hiccups for us to get back together again. But I don't think that simply trying to reinstate what we had before is either feasible or the right thing to do. I think this is quite a unique time for Rotary, as it is for lots of other organisations. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to push the reset button, to make some changes, sort out some long-standing problems, and reinvent ourselves for today's world, whatever that looks like. I think it's just a huge opportunity for us to become more relevant, more attractive to lots of new people who have found volunteering during lockdown by serving our communities for the first time during the pandemic, and they've actually quite enjoyed that. And they may want to carry on volunteering, hopefully, in future. What better way for them to be able to do that than to come and join us in Rotary? But not necessarily for weekly meals and meetings and black tie dinners with chains and bling. They probably want to be wearing t-shirts or high-vis vests and get their hands dirty, been outside in the main marshalling car parks as we've been doing at the vaccination centre. So really, we're looking to attract people to come help us to join some projects. And there's a whole theme on projects all the way through this evening, really. And that's where the International President-elect Sheikha Mehta's annual theme for next year comes in. He's talking about serve to change lives. And that's what all these new volunteers will be doing. Right now, they're getting soaked in vaccination centre car parks on wet Saturdays. They're working in food banks. They've been making masks and PPE. They've been doing that for the past year. They've been serving their communities, changing other people's lives. Will probably change their own lives as well. So we've got a Rotary International vision statement that many of you will have seen before in my presentations. So I'm going to share that with you now. Wait a second, I've got a technical problem here, that's not moving. Anyway, that's the Rotary's vision statement. It says, together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in the communities and in ourselves. That's the RI objectives, that's the top level. And it's how that we're going to actually do that. So there are 4 strategic priorities to actually match up with those. The first one's about increasing our impact, which really translates to being eradicate polio, let's get that done. Deliver more projects, be more impactful on the world. Also to measure our achievements and our impact as well. We need to expand our reach, be more open, attract new and different people, and build awareness of what we're doing. So that will become this by Irene's presentation later. Enhanced participant engagement is, I think, quite a long way of saying let's have some fun, let's actually enjoy your Rotary, let's look after existing members, get the new opportunities, enjoy Rotary, become attractive to new people. And the final one is just the increased ability to adapt. As I said before, this is a chance to make changes, probably take some risks, and some things that we'll try to do won't actually work. But if you don't try, you never find out. It's a time to challenge the status quo. It's time to move us forward if we possibly can. I've used this model to set the district goals and objectives as well for the year ahead. And actually, as you'll see when I talk through the goals, I've aimed high. My father used to say to me, reach for the moon and you might get a handful of stars. I certainly wasn't expecting a subject, but I got the gist. If you aim high, you will actually achieve some things. It's a pivotal time for Rotary right now, and we need to be brave, seize the moment, all these sort of phrases. We won't ever have this chance again. If we go back to normal, it will be normal forever. I think we have to try to make some changes. And President-elect Sheikha has actually challenged this year's district governors to be the change maker governors. We've been challenged to steward Rotary out of the pandemic and into the new, exciting, challenging change agenda. And Nicki will cover that tomorrow night. Nicki will talk about change, why we need to change, what we're doing in the bigger picture in Rotary. So the first one is about increasing our impact and what that actually means for us. So the first part's about achieving our end polio and our donations target, but it's really more than just achieving a donations target. It's really about kicking polio in the backside and getting rid of it, isn't it? There's only been 2 reported cases of wild polio virus so far this year, but there's so much still to do to finally get the job done. So we can't take our eye off the prize now. So while we're changing, we have to keep our eye on polio, keep on funding it, doing projects to end polio now. It will still be years till completely polio free, but we can't give up 35 years of hard work now to get that done. We have to support our own charity, the Rotary Foundation. It's one of the most respected, highly rated charities in the world, and it's our charity. We have to support it financially, because at the moment, there are so many calls on the funding for grants for COVID across the world and other things, that there's actually more grant applications than have got money coming in, and we can't sustain that. So we need to keep funding the foundation so it can fund our projects going forward. We also need to use the funds, fund foundation, to leverage our own projects, whether they're local projects, international projects. There's money comes back out of the foundation for our project because it's our own charity. So we need to be looking at applying for those grants as well. And the deadlines are quite soon for some of those as well. We have to set ourselves some goals. Now you can set your own goals. Actually be brave, put them out publicly on Rotary Club Central. It's quite simple to do. If you don't know how to do it, it's just the governor will help you to do that. Declare them publicly. You can always go back and change your goals during the year. Even if you set them now, if things change in a couple of months' time, go back and amend the goals. Tone them down, make them more ambitious, whatever is the appropriate thing to do. But be brave, declare what you're planning to do. You've got club assemblies coming up. You put your plans forward then, declare those at Rotary Club Central for us all. There's a thing called the Rotary Presidential Citation, which is the Rotary International President's Citation to clubs who achieve a set number of goals each year. And this year is probably one of the best years for you to have a chance to achieve that. You can set your own goals. You choose which goals to set. You choose what the targets are. You declare the Rotary Club Central, then you achieve them and put your results in. So it's probably a good year to have a good going. I would like 25 clubs in this district at least to achieve a Rotary Presidential Citation for this year. If you can set your own targets and then beat them, it's probably one of the easiest things that you ever do to get a Rotary Presidential Citation. So I think, something to have a little go at. Probably the most important thing about impact for me, really, for this year is I would challenge every club to start one new service project. Do something that you've never done before. Large project, small project, help solve a problem in your local community, help solve a problem somewhere else in the world. Remember, I'm sure the new area of focus begins in July. We've actually got Rotary project on the environment coming up. It's many resistant projects that we cover that, but just pick a project that will attract some volunteers as well, but do something different. Don't go back to doing it. Well, do go back to doing what you did before, but add a new one on. Just do one new project for this year. And that will then increase the impact that we've got across. If we all do one new project, we've got 60 odd new projects across the northwest of England, haven't we? So that's the next thing we should be looking at. Expanding our reach is about growing membership. And I know we're talking membership a lot, and Phil will cover that as well. I would like to set a big goal to have 100 more members at the end of the year than we do right now. But I'm going to include a Rotaract in that as well, because I like to get Rotaract off the ground. So 100 new Rotarians or Rotaractors in the district by the end of the year. I'd like to bring our average age down, which is a bit kind of going against the science, isn't it? Because by this time next year we'll all be 1 year older. But if we attract younger members into Rotary and also Rotaractors, our average should come down. So if we can get it down by 1 year in 1 year, that will be quite a big achievement for us. I'd like to really start some new clubs, and I'm talking here about possibly 4 clubs. A club for Rotaract, somewhere a community-based one, somewhere in the district. If you want to volunteer to help us with that, that'd be great. A district passport club, and Phil will cover passport clubs a little bit later on in his presentation. And 2 new flexible Rotary clubs. 2 new clubs. We used to start clubs on a regular basis, but we seem to have got out of the habit of doing it. So 4 different clubs, either chartered or at least on the blocks by the end of the year. So we're actually starting to get some new members into Rotary. We need to use projects to attract new members. People don't want to come and just join a club. They want to come and join a project. So we need to use projects to get people in. We also need to attract people from different diverse backgrounds, whether it's gender, age, ethnicity, religion, or whatever, and just be a little bit more open. And that's a big area for Rotary this year: diversity, equity, and also inclusion for everyone. So basically, Phil will talk through some of the stats later on, and we don't reflect the communities that we actually live in at the moment. Our age is definitely on the wrong end of the scale. The male-female split's not what it actually should be. So there's a lot of work for us to do, but we can get on with that for this year. President-elect Shaker has said that we need to grow more to do more. So the more members that we've got, the more projects that we can do. But that works the other way around as well, because actually the more projects that we do, the more members that we'll attract. So it's a kind of a virtuous circle there to work our way around. So we can do both. More projects is more members, we can actually do more projects. As you'll hear from the other team leaders tonight, doing projects can also have membership benefits, diversity benefits, and public image benefits. So we need to get the most out of the projects. We deliver the project, but look at what are the other things that we can do from that as well. What else can we get out of the project? Can we get some new members, diversity, and whatever? And public image is going to be really quite important for us. Our next part's about enhancing participant engagement, really, which is having fun in Rotary. It's about how we view ourselves, look after our own clubs, our own members. We need to look at having different types of meeting formats. The opportunity now that we've not been meeting face to face for some amount of time, do we go back to what we did before, or do we stop and think and say, what could we do? Are meeting formats ideal for everyone in the club, for everyone that might join the club? You know, should it be face to face or online? Should it be a bit of both? Should it be a blend of some people online, some people face to face? How often should you meet? Should it be weekly, fortnightly? It's up for grabs, isn't it? Will you always have a meal? Do you have to have a meal? What's that going to cost? Does that put people off? Is your venue welcoming? Can people get to the venue if they don't drive? The meeting times for people that are working, is it too early, too late? Is it lunchtime? Is it breakfast? Every club should be asking all these questions, and probably more, just to say, could we change? Do we need to change? Do we want to change? And if the answer is no, that's absolutely fine. But don't just go back to what you were doing before without stopping to think, do we need to do something different? Could we do something different? If you don't want to change, if you think everything suits everyone that's in your club, but might not suit new members, look at one of the other options. Look at an E club or a satellite club or a passport club. And you do what you enjoy doing, but try to help us to open another club in your area for other people that can't fit in with what you want to do. So that's really part of the plan for this year. So hopefully this year there's some more district fellowship meetings. We'll be able to get together face to face and have perhaps a conference, perhaps other events during the year. But let's wait and see what Boris says in June or July, or whether we're going to be released. And let's see how COVID actually goes. But hopefully we'll be able to get together, have some fellowship, have a bit of fun, enhance participant engagement, enjoy yourselves a little bit more. Because we've also got so much change going on, I want to give everybody the skills to perhaps develop themselves and the club and move things forward. So Roger's going to be talking later on about how we can help you to develop yourselves and other members in the club to cope with change or to do something new. So there'll be a lot of things going on during the whole year to help people to actually develop themselves, enjoy Rotary more, learn something new as well. Communication is also going to be important this year because there's so much change going on. We want to communicate more often, but it'll be different. I'm looking at doing a video blog for the beginning of my new year, so I may send you some videos, some newsletters, some different types of sort of comms all the way through the year. So I see there's just something a little bit different. We just want to make Rotary enjoyable for everybody. We're all volunteers. We should be enjoying our volunteering in Rotary. So watch this space. Let's see what we can do. I really, it's all about change, adapting. What can we do differently? We need to adapt and adopt new ways of working. The district team will be streamlining the way that we actually operate. We've learned a lot during lockdown. We've done lots of meetings online. So basically we're looking to say, can we take the good bits of the lockdown learnings and apply them to the post-lockdown? Assistant governors will take on a much bigger role this year. They have a front and centre of the communication with the clubs, so you'll see them a lot more. We're working with actually the team leaders as well to give you advice, training, a bit of guidance, a bit of support. So they'll be out there talking to the clubs a lot more this year than they have been previously. As a district team, we actually meet more often because there's more change, there's more things going on, so we can't have a big gap between meetings. But the meetings will be different. They'll be shorter, they'll probably be online. There won't be formal reports that are written before and afterwards. We'll just capture things like action points to be done with the next meeting. So it'll be a slicker, leaner meeting, but more of them and more often. And we'll actually communicate with you what comes out of those meetings. The big theme tonight is really about sort of collaboration as well. We're going to collaborate more with clubs working on joint projects. There's been a lot of that going on during lockdown, but you don't need to do it on your own. Work with other clubs. Work with your cluster, and work with neighbouring districts on things like training events, perhaps with very different districts. A joint district conference is a possibility, maybe not this year, but perhaps going forward. And certainly service projects can work in a much bigger scale across different borders. We also need to focus on Rotaract this year. We've got a bit of a Rotaract club in Manchester, but it's not really consistent. So we're looking to have at least one fully functional Rotaract club by the end of the year. It's a way to get young people into Rotary family, and hopefully they will spend time in Rotary and then become Rotarians later. And when we have a Rotary club, we'll involve them in district meetings and events. They'll come to assembly, they'll come to conference, because Rotaractors have actually the same status as we do, as actually Rotary members now. And such an assistant governor team I've already mentioned about, I will run cluster meetings, and as well to kind of get clubs working together and sharing ideas, what's gone well, what's not gone well, can we look at projects together. So basically, there'll be a lot going on this year, a lot of change. So this takes us back kind of to where we started, really. This takes us back really to the vision statement. So I see the vision statement is going to wrap around all of this stuff for Rotary. There are 4 key words in the vision statement. Together, people create change. It won't happen on its own. We need to actually create these changes. We need to be the people driving them, people behind them, and people actually backing the change with these sort of ideas. So really, it's about us. And the theme is serve to change lives. So this is where the change part comes in as well. So yeah, it's going to be quite an exciting year ahead. So it's a new dawn. Opportunities are there. There's new opportunities. It could be a very exciting year. Let's go into that stem with both hands. Let's move things forward for the district. It's not going to be easy, but I think it's the right time to make some changes. I've set some big challenges for us in the year, but I'd love to be able to celebrate those successes as we get ticked off during the year. If we do a conference in the spring, can we celebrate ticking off some of these boxes by the springtime? I would hope so. So we have some more detail as to how we make a start on that. So the first presentation tonight is really from Phil Dyer, about district membership team leader. So Phil will talk about change and flexible clubs. Over to you, Phil.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your presentation, Eric. That's very informative, and I'm sure that has given members plenty to think about for the incoming year. Allow me just to share my screen, and with any luck, that should be us. So, my name is Phil Dyer, and I'm the team leader for membership for District 1285. And tonight I would like to talk about flexible Rotary and more. So first off, the world needs more Rotarians. Not just a soundbite, but a call to action for us as Rotarians going forward in this year, this unique year post-pandemic. There is a real opportunity, an opportunity of a lifetime. But having said that, first of all, I'm afraid I don't have a magic wand for membership. And unfortunately, I'm not a magician, and I can't magic Rotarians from underneath these steel cups. As Eric said, we work as a team, and we will be working with the membership team. Will be working with all the district officers and the governor team to bring as much support to you as Club Rotarians as we can. So first off, I thought I'd take the opportunity to talk about Rotary International and some of their priorities that they have as part of their membership strategy for the global Rotary International membership. As touched on by Eric, priority 1 is to increase our impact, eradicate polio, focus on the programmes that we are already committed to, improve our ability to achieve and measure the impact that we are creating. This is priority 1. Priority 2 is to expand our reach, grow and diversify our membership, add participation, create new channels into Rotary, increase Rotary's openness and appeal for everyone. Priority 3, enhance participant engagement, support clubs to better engage with their members, develop a participant-centred approach to delivering value, and offer new opportunities for personal and professional connection. This is a really important part of Priority 3, because we must remember that Rotary International was originally a professional organisation created by Paul Harris in 1905. Priority 4 is to increase our ability to adapt. Build a culture of research, innovation and willingness to take risks. Calculated risks, but risks all the same. Streamline our governance, structure and processes. Review the governance and foster a more diverse perspective in our decision making. So like I said, that these are all Rotary International's priorities and are for the whole world to follow and work with. So now for some numbers. Retaining our existing members remains both a challenge and an opportunity. So here we have a slide with Rotary on the left and Rotaract on the right. You can see that in the recent past we have lost 23,278 members. Yet we've gained 14,230 members from Rotaract. You'll notice that this slide includes both Rotary and Rotaract. In the 2019 Council on Legislation amended the constitutional documents of Rotary International to include Rotaract clubs as a unique membership type of Rotary International. This action elevates Rotaract and positions Rotary for the future, making us more innovative, inclusive and adapting to the real world around us. Since July the 1st, Rotary has gained more than 2,000 members, as stated. 241 new clubs, and Rotaract is growing, as I said earlier, by 14,230 new members, and a whopping 631 new Rotaract clubs have been formed. Especially exciting is to see this increase in new clubs, since this is the best way for us to expand our reach and increase our capacity of service around the world. It is also important to compare membership figures for the same time for each year. Those of you in a leadership role in your club will know that we report membership on the 1st of July and the 1st of January. And there are a few workarounds for that particular number to be extended through and not reported until the last minute. So we need to watch out when we report our numbers. And July and January are the best ones. And all club treasurers will know this is the same time as you pay your subs to Rotary International and Rotary GB&I and District. The desire to increase membership often results in a focus of adding new members to clubs and overlooks the importance of delivering engaging experience from our current members. Retaining our existing members remains both a challenge and an opportunity. As Eric mentioned in his presentation, Serve to Change Lives is the new internal theme by our new incoming President-elect for Rotary International. Shaker is from India, and this is his call to action for us as Rotarians: serve to change lives. More specifically, Shaker wants us to follow this particular mantra of each one bring one. Now, we've probably heard that before, and as an organisation of 1.2 million, if everyone brought one, then we'd have 2.4 million members by the end of the year. Now that is probably a little bit too idealistic. But as Chaker said at his International Assembly earlier this year, held virtually for the first time, wouldn't it be great if we really tried to make that happen? And his quest is for us to change membership from 1.2 million members to 1.3 million members, 100,000 new Rotarians by the end of this next Rotary year. That would be amazing. So what have you got to do? You have got to each one bring one. And that would be just a phenomenal way of dealing with our membership problem. Next time you have an excellent speaker or you're doing a project, remember to bring a guest with you as either a volunteer for the project that you've got in hand or to be a prospective member. Let's take a little bit of time now to talk about District 1285, our district. RI President Holger Nack reminds us we need to stop thinking about new members all the time as people we can mark down as statistics and forget about. Every new member changes us a little bit and just brings us a new perspective, new experiences which we need to embrace this constant renewal. We will grow stronger as we learn from new members. So let's have a look at the numbers. District 1285, we are currently 1546 members strong, and that has been reduced by 373 from 2016. And we are 67 clubs, and that is down 13 clubs from 2016. This data has come from Rotary Club Central on the 15th of May 2021. Now, I haven't put a graph up on the screen tonight to talk about the downward curve that those two statistics produce, but I'm sure you can see, reading between the numbers, what we need to do. As you can see, we have a reasonably representative split for men and women across the world and the district. We're a little bit light on lady members within the district. New member retention and existing member retention is very comparable. But interestingly, members under the age of 50, of which I could include myself in last year, but unfortunately not this year, we are really very low. The rest of the world compares with 16% of total membership, whereas we're at 4.65%. Members 50 plus across the world, 46%, whereas we are 70%. And age not reported, although our figure is better than the worldwide average, 25% of our members do not report their age. And with respect, you can bet your bottom dollar that they are people that are at the elder end of the age spectrum. So we have a plan that has been put in place from the District Governor-elect's earlier comments, and this plan follows the strategic plan which was put in place last year. Goals for the year 2021-22. 1 new Rotaract club, 1 new passport club, and Eric asked me to bring a definition of a passport club, and I have that here, so let me read it to get it right. A passport club encourages members to be engaged in service in ways that fit their time, talent and finances, to fit Rotary within their family, work commitments. Passport clubs differ from e-clubs in that members live within the defined geography, so that members can get in touch together occasionally at face-to-face meetings, as well as do their normal online monthly meetings. A good fit for a passport club are the following people. Just as with traditional clubs, the culture of each passport club will vary. However, in general, the format of a passport club is intended to be of particular interest to former Rotarians interested in returning to the organisation, Current and past members of the Rotary family, such as past Rotary Youth Exchange students, Rotaractors and alumni, young people who are in their early careers or have young families, retirees who often travel but want to give back wherever they are, and anyone else looking for a flexible avenue to do good in the world. And I think it would be excellent that we pursue this option for a club within our district. We'd also like to look at a new e-club, and conversations are being held within the district as we speak about a new e-club. And we're also asking clubs to undertake a health check of your own club. You need to look at your own club and see, is it fit for what we are trying to achieve? What changes do you need to make your club more active, more visible, more engaging, more open, more relevant, and most importantly, more vibrant for not only the members that are within the club, but more vibrant to the communities that we operate within? Ask yourselves, is tradition holding us back? We need to be open-minded. We often get ridiculed or complained that there's a gap between our reality and the perception of Rotary. We need to change that and close the gap between what we say and what we actually do. Leaving a legacy could be considered our duty as Club Rotarians in our district to ensure the longevity of Rotary within your community. And to quote Oscar Wilde, legacy. There is only one thing in life worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. And think about all the excellent work that we all do in the communities that we operate. And if that was to fade away, would it not be terrible that we weren't talked about for the Santa sleigh, for the bagpack, for helping out at the hospices, for working at the food bank? And it will be quickly forgotten unless we do something new. So going back to my earlier comments, this could be our finest hour. We have an opportunity to make a difference now. Some of you will recall the 2018 Think Differently initiative, where we talked about satellite and e-club and making changes now. We have a perfect storm. We are coming out of a pandemic year, a once in a lifetime opportunity for us to make the difference now. So I do believe that this could be our finest hour. We have had over 750,000 people volunteering for working with our NHS, and lots of Rotary projects have been undertaken during this pandemic. We need to prove that we're open for business, open for the service that we provide our members, we provide to our communities by the members that are part of our clubs. Clearly, we are trying hard with the projects that we've put on so far in COVID, with social distancing and other restrictions. But as those restrictions are lifted and we come back to a new norm, we need to consider that we are open and we are working for our communities. Let's talk now a little bit about what members want. Well, in a nutshell, they want to give local community service. They want friendship and fellowship, and they want opportunities to develop professionally. As I said at the beginning, Rotary International was created to provide professional development opportunities as a business-to-business networking organisation. When we look at what potential and current new members both want, Rotary and Rotaract value most, some interesting trends appear. Both list participating in service projects and positively impacting on the community as an opportunity they value most. But potential members are younger professionals, and in particular, they also want to make a change globally and foster their careers through professional development and networking. Current members, however, value community service, friendship and fellowship, and by connecting with people outside of work and their circle of friends. So even when both groups cite making a positive impact through service as the top reason they joining or staying with Rotary. Our research shows that prospective members are also looking for opportunities to grow personally and professionally. Rotary and Rotaract offers them that. And you don't have to offer formal professional development strategy for members to achieve their goals. Every service project or every event that you hold is a chance for someone to take the lead and grow. Members can also take online courses through Rotary's Learning Centre to leverage our alliance with Toastmasters to provide your members with additional growth opportunities. And we are looking for people to join the district team and Rotary Great Britain and Ireland and potentially Rotary International with opportunities to serve at a higher level within our organisation. Wanted to talk a little bit about membership leads and how people want to join us and how do we know. Last year, more than 20,000 membership candidates from all over the world came through the Rotary.org join to express interest in joining the club. A notice of their interest is sent to the district, and the district and club leaders can track these notices through the Manage Membership Leads page of My Rotary. Tracking leads and updating a status is easy and keeps the prospective members' data secure. Unfortunately, clubs contacted less than a third of the prospective members assigned to them last year. Some club leaders say they have no interest in contacting someone they know nothing about. Contacting them does not guarantee membership to the club or Rotary. But it does signal that the person or a member of your community that Rotary cares and is interested in learning in a meaningful way. Look at the proportion here. 35% of these candidates are women, 59% are under 40 and 50% have personal connections to Rotary already. And while not every one of them will be a good fit for an existing Rotary club, some may be great for Rotaract or a new club model. And some may be good for charter members for new clubs, as I've just said, to be formed. We must view these prospective members as an opportunity to grow Rotary and strengthen our public image. Now we know what members want and what they are looking for, but how do we find candidates? Talking about members and why members leave, 30% are related to cost and time. 23% is relating to the club environment, and I'm sure we've all had moments within our own club where the environment is less than we expect. 19% is unmet expectations. According to a recent member experience survey conducted by Rotary International, 30% of former members cited cost and time as their number one reason to leave. The job of a Rotarian should never be seen as a firm time commitment, too great for a busy professional to consider. Otherwise, we're closing the door to contributions from people we need most in Rotary. The ones with potential for decades of Rotary service and leadership ahead. We need to meet people right where they are, at whatever stage they are in their lives, and welcome them in. A growing number of departing members also cite the club environment and unmet expectations for reasons for leaving. Imagine them being excited to be a member of Rotary only to discover that the experience was not as promised. As we build a stronger future for our organisation, it is good that we are reaching out to new people and introducing them to Rotary. It's important that our clubs reflect the communities we serve and deliver the things our members join for. So, is it time for your club to make or take a new direction? Is a new flexible club ready for the future? New resources on satellite clubs, passport clubs and corporate membership can all be found on Rotary Club Central. One of the most interesting proposals going forward, coming out of the pandemic, is a hybrid club, an online or hybrid meeting where certain people meet in person in the room and a laptop is positioned and other people arrive on Zoom. Yes, there's a little bit of technology that needs to be accommodated, and you need to be a little bit confident with the IT to get it working, but we're all Zoom experts now, and you can just adjust your agenda to set the tone for the meeting, when 4, 5, 6 or 7 people may meet on Zoom and 10 or 12 people may be in the room with you. Wouldn't that be a phenomenal meeting? A real hybrid meeting. So we're asking you to do a health check on your club. Members who have a positive Rotary experience are more likely to stay. In turn, they create a positive Rotary experience for others because their enthusiasm is contagious. If you would like some help with a club health check, please get in touch with me following this district assembly. This is a changing world and we must be prepared to change with it. This isn't a quote from me from a few weeks ago. This is a quote from Paul Harris in 1935, who understood that the world was changing, and never more so in this year as we come out of a global pandemic. I'm a huge believer in this trilogy of connections between public image, membership and service, and or foundation. Patrick will be pleased that I've mentioned foundation this evening. So imagine that a phenomenal public image campaign to get a project underway which brings about volunteering and potential new membership. And the bigger and better the project, the more service we provide to our communities or fundraising that we provide to Rotary Foundation. And the trilogy goes on. Better public image, more members, bigger and better service projects. Better public image, more membership, and better and bigger service and foundation contributions. Of course, as a district team, we are here to support you as the clubs. And as they say, teamwork makes the dream work. And no more so with some of the training sessions that we hope to put on in connection with Roger Glew and his training LDT team, Learning, Training and Development team. The first one will be vibrancy seminars. Some of you may remember that this was a concept that we brought out last year, but weren't able to get this fully off the ground with what has been happening with the COVID pandemic. But this year we would love to do this. And this will be a combination of a health check for your club and giving you some ideas for how you can attract new members to your particular club from your local community. Again, working with the LDT team and Roger, we want to bring some new member seminars, and building on the past and the new member seminars that we've always done, we want to bring them up to date and give new members the information they need. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my presentation so far. As with all presentations, there is some takeaways. Unfortunately, it's not a KFC or a Chinese this evening, but what I would ask you to do is take away these. Learn. Take time to understand membership data and trends within your club district and region. We can offer you a global look at the state of membership, but Rotary Club Central, as we've mentioned a few times this evening, makes it easy for you to see the trends closest to you. Ask members what matters to them most. Find out what they value and what they might be missing and what you need to do to keep that member in for life. Finally, visit rotary.org/membership for resources to support you, whether you need access to club assessments, directions on how to manage membership leads, or even guidance on starting new clubs and membership types. There is likely to be a resource already designed and waiting for you at rotary.org. Of course, you can come back to any of the team or myself at the district membership team. Thank you very much for listening. We're going to hold questions until the end of this presentation. Thank you very much. I am now going to hand over, my pleasure to hand over to Irene Rissell, who is our public image team leader.
Hello everyone, good evening everyone. I will just start my video. Well, good evening everyone, and welcome from the public image team. And tonight it's about showcasing your projects. And I'm going to start this evening with talking about identity. And you might think to yourself, well, what's that all about? Well, I'm going to tell you about it. So tonight, I'm going to tell you how to showcase your projects. I'm going to give you some nuggets, some little tips on how to do things, and we'll just have a general discussion. So first up, this is a wee bit dodgy tonight. So I think identity matters. So despite over a century of impact in communities around the world, Rotary does not get the recognition it deserves. Now, we've been around a long time and we're still not getting this. Just my little keys are sticking this evening. We need to rethink how we tell our story so people understand it everywhere. We need to tell people what Rotary stands for, how we're different, and why it matters. Oh, I've got a right sticky key. We've got a lot of strengths as Rotarians. Rotarians are responsible leaders socially and ethically. Connecting has always been the driving force behind Rotary. And the other thing that's written here, it's not just about the global impact we have. We impact on communities on a global scale. And that's something else, I think. And just to top it all, we have brilliant values. We have fellowship and global understanding. We build lifelong relationships. We are a very ethical organisation. We honour our commitments. We do what we say what we do. We connect diverse perspectives. We offer up vocational expertise in service and leadership. And we use those skills to solve problems. You just got to think about polio and how we turned our ideas to that, the COVID-19 pandemic, what we did as an organisation for that. So you think to yourself, oh, that's a great organisation. I want to be part of that. But perception is everything. We are still perceived, and I just didn't even dare put up that slide of the two old men yammering together, or a slide where everybody's just sitting over the lunch. I just thought I can't bear to put it up. But perception is everything. We do not have the perception that we are all of that, all those strengths, all the things that we do, that global reach. People don't get it. They don't think that's who we are. And I'll give you a little example. As Eric mentioned earlier, on a Saturday, I quite often, very often, go and help at the vaccination centre in Warrington. And one day, maybe a couple of months ago, I had my Rotary things on. It was quite evident I was from Rotary. And this elderly gentleman said, "You can't be a Rotarian." And he sneered. Well, that didn't go down too well. But he went on, he dug his hole. He kept going at it. I can only think the man was stressed over getting his injection. But he then went on, "Really? They let women in?" I thought, oh, I just can't bear it. I thought, do you want to get taken to your pod today or what? So the perception's still out there that actually, we're exclusive. We're a dining club. We don't allow women members. And if we do, there's something wrong with them. I mean, it's quite astonishing when you think of what we think of ourselves, but how others see us. So over this next few minutes, I think we'll talk about how we can make that happen. Because the other thing I see is we don't represent ourselves terribly well as some of our websites and some of our social media sites. We portray, well, not the action photographs, shall I say. We still show the handshakes, the bling, the sitting at the lunches. And yet I know that we do so much more. So what is that all about? Do you think we've got a problem with recognition? Do we shy away from recognition, do you think? Do you think we just think, no, it's what we do, we are individuals. No, we would do that, we don't have to talk about it. Well, you know what? We're going to have to talk about it. Just remember that perception's everything. And people don't see us as we see ourselves. We think we're great, we're do-gooding, we're all at the back centre, you know, we're packing bags for this, you know, we're feeding children in Africa. Oh yeah, I'm a great get up and go person. It's not how others see us. So that's just something to hold on to, but you've got to wonder why we are not doing this. So let's talk about telling Rotary's story. All we have to do is transform the world one project at a time. Get it done, get it done. So whether that's a local community project or a global initiative taking place, Rotary's projects leave a lasting impact and change lives. No doubt about it. So just one project at a time. So what I'm saying here is projects are key. The world in which we live has changed. The way we do Rotary has changed. What we say about Rotary has to be more on point than ever. And we've heard that from Phil, we've heard that from Eric. We have a real opportunity right now to do something. So what it is, as I mentioned earlier, projects are key. Now, that cat at the bottom isn't my little Rocky, that's a robo-cat. I have to tell you, it's not my wee Rocky. So projects are key. Now, you see these projects. Now, I'm going to give you some wee top tips here. I think about 7 of those projects here, I can see, they had a campaign. 3 didn't, I think 3 didn't. What wouldn't have? The Swimathon may not have. The RoboCats may not have, and nor might have the Community Hub. I could be wrong, but the rest have had. And the one at the bottom, the defibrillators for Warrington, has a plan that's going to go out next week. So you've got to put your plans together. So I'm going to give you a top tip. This little slide in front of you was made on Canva. And I'm kind of digressing, but it's up in front of me, so I feel I have to tell you. This is a simple way of getting your image out. So I just thought I want to put out something about projects. I want to show some pictures. I thought I'll go into Canva. Went to Canva and I downloaded some photographs, and away you go. Now, the top tip for Canva is use the templates. Don't think for a minute that you'll just start from scratch. You're wasting your time. They've got loads of templates. Get the free one, download your free poster, download your free Canva, use your templates. And the other top tip is to keep all your photographs together. I keep all my photographs in Dropbox. Get your logos all in the one place, and you can whiz them along. Just get them done. So it's a very, very simple way of giving a visual picture of what you're doing. And I just picked those pictures. Now, I have to say, I had a bit of trouble looking for pictures. So I just picked those that I had to my hand. The Robocop could be a wee Robocop, but these were all just pictures that I had to hand. I started to look at your websites, started to look at your Facebook sites, and I really ran out of time. I work in the day. So I'm one of those demographics where I'm a lady member and I also work. So there you go. So the key thing there, projects. So the top project here, you can see is our own projects, the Warrington Rise Against Hunger Meal Pack project. Now, I know about this. In 6 months, we raised £25,000 to do this. I was laser focused, absolutely laser focused. The Together Talks is a project which I'm also involved with, and it's about bringing speakers, and actually it was around filling the gap. But these were all campaigns. The shoe aid, Swati's shoe aid, that went out to the district. That was a whole campaign that went out there, and a whole piece of work went into that. So you can see there's work to be done here. So there we are. Projects are key, and you've got a wee tip about Canva. So what about marketing? I said, I didn't create that in Canva. No, I didn't sit there and draw that in. No, there's limits. So let's look about ideas for marketing your project. So we've established projects are the keys. You're never going to get anyone to join you, to help you, to volunteer with you if you're not doing a project. So because, you know, I was just saying to Eric earlier, I think we get to the project stage, we've got a projects and we become a wee bit introverted. And I think we need to start being a bit more expansive. So, ideas. Decide how long your marketing campaign is going to last. Now, if we take the example of the defibrillators for Warrington, defibrillators, it's a bit grand, we're only buying one. But it's only going to be a month campaign and I'm going to use GoFundMe. Rather than crowdfunding, I'll not go into that, but I've chosen GoFunding for a particular reason, because I want to attract members in Warrington. I want to reach out to them. I want to say, hey, we're still here. I'm going to target the audience and I'm going to have a specific call to arms. And that specific call is, I'm wanting your money. I'm wanting £2,000 and I want you to help me raise it. I'm going to be boosting my posts and it's going to go out to all Warrington. It's not going to cost me that much money, but I think it'll be worth it. Now, the next thing, create your assets. Now, that's grand. That's very grand. I only learned that in Together Talks. I never heard that phrase before. So you get your images and you create every image that you might need for every platform. Now, that sounds a bit work. I'm told it's nothing. I could be wrong. So you create a different size for Facebook, for Twitter, for Instagram, what you would put out in your website. So there's different sizes and you decide that look, what's that's going to be there, and you keep that look. That's the consistency. So then for me, that goes into my Dropbox. I use it. Create your assets, get them done right away. Get your scripts done, get your overviews of your projects done and write your ads. Get that done before you even start. Don't even think about you'll do it later. Do it before. Get collaboration. Decide on which social media distribution you want. And like I said before, boosted posts for something as specific as looking for money for your local community. Why not? Why not ask for that? Now, here's another thing. You create your social media there. You can create your social media content and you can schedule. Now, scheduling is fairly new. Now, I use scheduling for other things that I do. I use scheduling for Together Talks. And I've got quite used to it, and I use Hootsuite. Now, I'll give you some little top tips about Hootsuite as well. Hootsuite won't do Instagram. It'll put it on, but it won't add your pictures. That's a wee disadvantage. But it's probably the best of the free ones going around. Probably the best. What I find with Hootsuite, I take an enormous amount of time to write these things. And I don't know how that happens. I can write a post on I can do it on my phone. I can put it on all my platforms. Whisk, whisk, whisk. I go into that Hootsuite and I'm up the stairs and I'm hours and I don't know what happens. So there are some advantages because you are scheduling. So if I've got a month of a campaign, I'm putting out different posts to suit. And these posts will be different for each posting. If you think back, you may or you may not have noticed this for VExpo. There was different posts available. That was a whole campaign and it was published long before the event. And it was all scheduled, it's all in. I can see what James Bolton's putting out. He's a busy old boy. Oh, it's all there, it's all scheduled. So there's not a person sitting there at the weekend scheduling away. That doesn't work like that. You are planning it. But you can also plan the monthly, what's going on every month, what's happening. You can make your post quite a variety by using a scheduler. Now, you can go into Facebook and do a schedule in that way. But if you're using multiple platforms, you know, there's something to be said about it. You know, is it worthwhile for one club? Depends on how much posts you want to do. The other little hint is if there's more than one person actually on these, you know, on Hootsuite or on a scheduler, whatever one you choose, agree your style. because, you know, whoever's heading up Hootsuite or the scheduler, they have their own style. I can always tell who's written whatever post. So whoever heads it up likes the way they do things. So somebody else can come along and say, well, I don't like it like that. Get agreement first. See what you're wanting to put out there. But it's actually got a place going forward. There's no doubt about that. So have a think about scheduling if you've got that kind of project that you want to put out there. And it goes without saying, you add that to the website, because the website is the first thing that people will land on. They'll go right to the website and think, nothing here, nothing to see here, let's move on. And the other thing would be Rotary Showcase. Let's do Showcase. And Eric mentioned earlier, what about your presidential citation? You do a little project, put it on a Showcase, bingo, done. Now, don't forget your own club and your own members, because actual fact, what that little project that we're doing, actually we've got quite engaged. You know, we talked about the colour of paint. I mean, we went to detail. We've had people in to speak to us, how we were going to get the money, what other kind of fundraising things we could do if we didn't get the money. I mean, we've got the money, but we just chose not to spend it from our club funds. We wanted to see. I mean, the other thing is we wanted to engage with the community. So this is actually, if you're thinking about something, think about a small project to start with and think about what you do, but it's actually given our club a wee bit of energy. So despite the fact each of one of us are all doing things, this has brought us together. And, you know, I can almost see a little barbecue happening quite soon, just for the sake of raising a fiver. But anyway, that'll happen. Don't forget your community groups, your other charities, and your other civic groups. Don't forget them, involve them, tell them what you're doing. I mean, I'm no stranger to doing these kind of projects at all. We obviously, I spoke about the mail pack, and we raised an enormous amount of money, but also I raised awareness of something that we had never done before. I came at this district with a complete cold idea, straight from Brazil. I'm having it, but I was laser focused, completely, utterly laser focused. I am having this, I thought, and we did. And it is about effort. There's no question. We also, as a club, 3 of us took a car from Warrington to Venice just to raise awareness and raise funds for End Polio Now. These things can be done. And you've just got to keep at it, but I enjoy that kind of thing. So really, the last point is about consistent themes. If you're doing this, you have the same look, you have the same colours, you have, you know, all sorts of things, you know, so keep it consistent. Consistency is key. Now, let me look at this now. So this is our dear friend Rosemary is there. We've never had any bother trying to portray her as a person of action, because that's exactly what she was. So we've got one of our own Rotarians in Warrington there, helping. I think we were packing bags for something, for some strange reason. That looks like Tesco to me. I think we were in Tesco. Rosemary with a Feed the, Rise Against Hunger. And we have a past RIBI president there with some children and some other helpers. And these are great photographs. I mean, they are great action photographs. There's no doubt about it. Rotary's there. Now, I mean, Rosemary was wearing a Rotary sweatshirt thing. You've seen that's one of our Rotary members with a Rotarian at Work badge. And then when we don't have anything that's so visible with Rotary, we put on one of these masks that says, "Together we help," or "feed," or it's called the People of Action campaign. Now, these masks or graphic overlays are available to you. That's a little tool. And if you've got one of these photographs and there's nothing about it but Rotary, just put one of these on. Because sometimes photographs have got an awful habit of disappearing from the text. And if you've got that, that will always be a Rotary project. So that's a little great trio there. Really lovely. And of course, this is one of my favourites. It would be one of my favourites. I've got a big tick there. I mean, this photograph you've probably seen everywhere. It's been shared everywhere because it's an all action, and it's youngsters. It's, you know, it shows, you know, a project there that captured people's imagination, and it's just a great photograph. And it's the other thing about photographs is, and here's another little tip for you. When you are taking these project photographs, make sure you've got high resolution ones, as well as what you do on yours for social media, because the resolution, you don't need a high resolution for social media, but you absolutely do need it when you are showcasing some of these photographs, or if you're putting them out to press, you need that. So, I mean, we had one of our own members take photographs. That's one of his, I'm absolutely certain. That's one of his photographs, and they are high resolution, and you do need that. And that's what I would say to you. If you're out doing a project, take the photographs, get your images. So when I say get your assets together, I'm really talking about start off with your photographs. I mean, I was out at the weekend there taking photographs of telephone boxes, because that's what one does. And so that there was me pretending I was some David Bailey. I wasn't. I've got a basic camera, but anyway, I was taking photographs, and I will use them. So I've taken some landscape or portrait as well, so you can have choices, because you never know where you might want to put some words or graphics or some overlays, so give yourself the choice of there. And you know, our project, the one for you know, the telephone boxes, the fibs for the telephone boxes, I am going to unashamedly use or tap into the I don't know, our psyche in Warrington, where the band Viola Beach, you know, that these young lads in Germany who died, they were supposed to be the next big thing. Well, they had an iconic picture of them sitting on top of those 3 telephone boxes. I did think about going up there, and I thought, no, it's not. And Eric just wasn't going to do it. So I thought, no, I'll just put the rondel. And if you notice for the photograph, I've got one of those little big rondel things that I sat in front of it. So there's plenty of things you can do there, but that's just a little hint about photographs there. We'll move on. Oops. So this is another little graphic here. It's one of the verbs, we connect. Together we connect. And you can see that that's a tree planting thing. Excellent. Honestly, great photograph. Again, it's one of the People of Action masks, and they are super. Now, I don't know if you noticed below, we've got the master brand with the district identifier down below, if you didn't realise what that was. So it's Rotary, Northwest England and Isle of Man. I see some other things, but that's the one. That is the one. And next to it is the presidential theme, that's Serve to Change Lives 2021 to 2022, and that changes every year. And the reason I can use this in that capacity is because basically this is an internal audience. You would know, I see all sorts of things and I think, oh dear Lord, what's all this? But we can use that because this is our assembly. We can use that presidential theme. At this point, it's not really up for grabs until July, but we're talking about it, so I can use it. And so I am. Here's one of our People of Action slides here, a champion of change. We've played on words here, and this is Tony, and with a champion of change. So that's a nice photograph too. And this is, well, we've made this up, have loads of fun. Again, Rotary People of Action. It's not hard to run a gin bar, quite honestly. Putting in wee bits of lemons, it's really not hard. But I had loads of fun. But you will notice I've got an apron there, it says, and it had Rotary Warrington, and on the side it said gin and fizz. So you can do that. You can go into the brand centre and you can do that for you, which we did. You've seen that little photograph. So I think I've discussed this to the nth degree, but a positive public image attracts members, volunteers, partners and donors. No doubt about it. It makes Rotary stand out from other organisations. It inspires our current members. And as Eric said earlier, It expands our reach. I'm going to use this slide again because it's important to realise that we're all interlinked. I don't just stand alone as a public image board, and the membership just doesn't stand alone. We're all interlinked with what we do, because I couldn't showcase anything if you don't do your projects. You don't do projects, I can't showcase. If we can't showcase the projects, we can't get membership, and so on and so forth. It's a vicious circle, but let's turn it into a virtuous circle. That was a big brand there. I just want to talk with this thing today. So I mentioned earlier, it's all about the effort. You get what you put in. There is no doubt running projects like that with campaigns, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of effort. And sometimes I think we fall at that hurdle because people think, oh my goodness, I haven't worked that out. Work out how long it's going to take you and who's going to do it. If you've not got the time for it, pass it on to someone else. But this takes effort. There's no question about it. And you've got to put that in. So it's not just about doing a project so that your own audience will see it, your own members will see it. If you're serious about getting volunteers and members, then put your effort into publicising your projects. That's for sure. That's for sure. So welcome to the brand centre. I'm not even going to go back there with that. So there are two things that I'm going to ask you to look at when you've left here, not during the next presentation, that would be rude. So there's the brand centre. If you've never been on the brand centre, well, we can give you some guidelines to help you on. You will get all this stuff on there. The other thing is this voice and visual identity guidelines. These are available. I've already sent them out to 1 or 2 people, but I can send them out. You've got absolutely everything in here, down to your colour palette. Now, these colours that we're using today, it's not by chance. We haven't just chosen them. We've got the, now let me get this right, we've got the azure blue, the royal blue, the gold. These are the main colours. But we've also got the cranberries and the oranges. And we've got the pastels, and then we've got the other muted colours. They are very specific colours that we can use. And they're guidelines, and they're all there. And that voice and visual identity guidelines. The other thing we have there, and you will have noticed in the type, we use particular types. You know, we use, I mean, the basic one is Arial. Georgia is a secondary font. We've got Frutigia. That's, you know, a common font as well, but there's certain fonts that we can use as well. And those fonts I've used in my presentation, and I'm sure others. Arial is one of them. That's a basic one. But there's about 4 or 5 fonts that we can use and we're advised to use. If you don't, it's not a cohesive brand. So, of course, we're using it. So it would not be a public image presentation without me telling you about master brand. That's the master brand. That big yellow thing. That's the master brand. You never use that on its own. We would never use that on its own. Oh my goodness, you just don't do it. But it's there. This is the simplified master brand, and that's quite new. And it, depending on what other things you've got there, you can use that, providing you've got an identifier. And when I speak about identifier, I'm talking about whether it's a club identifier or the district identifier. And because I'm district public lead, I can put out on the district, my district teams can put it out, but no one can, we can't just put out anything under any master brand. You've got to be in that position to put it out. Like I would never put out RI stuff. I would never put out things that said anything from Ulster. It's not my place to do so, so I would not. So there we go. So that's the mark of excellence there. Sticky, stick, stick. And these are just some of the people of action masks. We'll call them masks or graphic overlays, but they're there. Now, what I have in my toolkit to send you are all of these. I have done it in the past, sent out all your identifiers, all your people of action, what your clubs should look like. I've got all these for you. I could even send you out the voice and visual guidelines, and you would have them all to start the year, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about here. So that's quite good. Now, and again, we've got the End Polio, the Transform, the Connect, and the Inspire. You've seen some of them with some of the photographs we have there. One other little top tip, and this has just reminded me of something. These are some verbs that we use, some things that we use. And I'm going to go back to social media, or how you're describing things. Don't just put out a bland post that says, well, we would like some money from you, and we are raising money for a defibrillator. You want some creative adjectives in there. When I put out the posts about this evening, I used an adjective, our lovely speakers. Now, whether they're all lovely or not was academic. I used that word. As people think, oh well, you've just got to think about it. And maybe you think to yourself, oh, but I don't want to use these. You've got to make your posts just that wee bit interesting. And that's the idea behind there. It's a campaign, and it's just together we transform. We do all these things. End polio, yeah, that's what we do. So some of the key points for public image, because I'm at the end here now, the key points are projects, projects, projects. Without them, we can't do anything. And I'll re-emphasize, Rotary is open for business. Tell your story and tell your positive Rotary story. I don't want to be seeing chains, hands sitting around. I will not endorse them. Just won't endorse them. Post positive images. We want to see smiley faces, happy faces, worky people. We want to see all that. Start thinking about how that comes across. If you just, when we see our members with our Rotary working, they're working, they're doing things. So post those types of images. One brand, one voice, it is what it says. Keep to the message, keep to the brand. I never even went on about what the old brand was, because quite honestly, we're 9 years down the line. I can't even bear to speak of it. So I won't. I've shown you what you have to use, and I will reinforce it. If I see something that isn't quite right, I'll just send you a little email and say, could you just change it to that? No, there's no hardship, there's no big deal. We'll just get it changed. And so it's just one brand, one voice, and we all look like we are professionals. And we're back to how others see us. And we want them to see us as professionals. Dear grief, look at the stuff that we're doing. We have got an extensive visual toolkit available, extensive. And we start thinking about it. And the other thing that will be available to you throughout the year will be the masterclasses. Now, we've already done Zoom. That was 2 hours. You would think that's 2 hours I'll never get back, but what a lot of information. The next two coming up, this is a lady that will show us how to do videos on our phones. Now, we first met this lady in Hamburg. What a great presentation. She has agreed to come and do this masterclass. She lives in California. It won't be Saturday morning, but she's great, absolutely great. I've also got somebody else lined up for social media. So they're coming on. But I am mindful that we're a bit zoomed out. We've got a lot of Zoom fatigue. So I won't be just putting it all out all at the one time. I think if there's a need, there's certainly a need for some of the videos, because, I didn't touch on videos. Videos are great. Video blogs are great. If you want to get your message across, just do a little video. Just do it on your phone. 1 minute. If anybody remembered Egg Challenge, I had no call to arms whatsoever. I just did it because I was getting bored. I've no time for that now, but it's dead easy. I did that really easy. I had my own cameraman, Eric, and it all worked out very well. So masterclasses are coming to you, and that's all for me. And if you get any questions, I'll take them at the very end. But there's lots coming up. There's lots to give you. And just remember your projects and tell your story well. Thanks very much. And just like Phil, I forgot to mention Roger. So it's over to Roger for the very last portion. Thanks, Roger.
Thanks, Irene. What a fantastic presentation those two have been, both of them. Now, one of the problems with being last on these sort of presentations is particularly when there's a cohesive theme going through the day, you end up with a lot of repetition of what's come before. So I make no apologies for that. I'm going to present it in a different way because I think we'll just have a rest from PowerPoint. And I'm not going to use PowerPoint, I'm just going to talk to you. So what I want to start with is to say, I hope we're going to learn some of the lessons from our experience over the lockdowns, because while we'll all miss face-to-face meetings together, there are also some advantages of being able to invite speakers from anywhere in the world, as Irene's just mentioned, to very easily meet with other clubs, other organisations at little cost and no travel restrictions. Now, a word that you'll hear used a lot over today and tomorrow for the other part of our district assembly is collaboration. And it's our intention within the leadership and development team to work with assistant governors and clubs through cluster meetings to provide learning opportunities tailored to the needs of clubs and to the members. We'll also be working with the district service teams to work together to deliver rounded learning opportunities for everybody, wherever we do it. Another source of material, and again it's been mentioned, is the Learning Centre. This is an online resource covering many aspects of Rotary learning with some excellent material. Some of it suffers from the problem that it's written in American, but most of it, and a lot of it actually was developed in this country. So a lot of it is very relevant to the work we're doing. And I'll be actually pointing you in the direction of things that I think could be useful to clubs and service projects that are actually going on in our district. I'm going to be producing a programme of topics that we're regularly asked for. We're regularly asked for help with managing Rotary IT systems, presentation skills, public speaking, and some newer areas like conflict resolution within clubs and diversity. Now, diversity is really an important topic for us to address now. Phil's mentioned that we need to get back to personal and professional development of our members and of our whole organisation. So one of the things that we can do with that is look for the particular projects and particular skills that you need to develop within your club by your members, and we can respond to those if you tell us what it is that you want us to do. So please let me know, or talk to your assistant governors, because they will bring back the messages. What you've heard so far today is that we've got experts in all sorts of fields within the districts already. There's fantastic resource in our district teams, but one of the strengths of working with online meetings is that we can bring in experts from elsewhere to help. Irene mentioned the masterclasses. That Zoom masterclass a couple of weeks ago was a fantastic morning. It's certainly 2 hours that I didn't regret in any way. But we've also had things around topics such as polio eradication. Working with the assistant governors, I hope we can encourage clubs to think about their own training and their own development needs and see what we can do to help and how we can bring to you in whatever way we can, a new period of collaboration with other teams within the district and with other clubs within the district. Now, actually, there's also going to be a new period of collaboration with other districts, and that'll become evident later on in the Rotary year that we're about to enter in July, when we start looking at some of the set piece events in preparation for next year's Rotary year. You may be aware that this year, 3 districts got together to put on a joint training event for presidents-elect. Now, that was a pilot scheme, and that's going to be evaluated both by Rotary GBI and by districts around the country, including us. And it may very well be that that'll be something that we could be looking at for the future, and a new way of actually delivering that sort of training. Finally, I want to put forward a new initiative for learning and the learning and development team this year. Personal development is very important for Rotarians who want to seek new opportunities for Rotary service beyond their club, in the district, and as Phil mentioned before, maybe at national or even international level. The comment's often been made that club officers do not know how to get started with other types of Rotary service. And it seems to me, seems to them rather, like a closed shop with only jobs for the boys and girls, with no opportunity for new people to come in. This could not be further from the truth. The reality is that we always need to find new people and talents, of people who can make a contribution to the work of Rotary moving forward. To this end, we're consulting with the assistant governors about launching a new initiative to offer an insight into the work of the district teams and the opportunities that they can give. This will be a collaboration with the service teams and will help them to recruit new members to their avenues of service. Hopefully, to develop new talent to the greater good and greater benefit of Rotary right across the district. Now, I'll be taking that idea to the district executive in a couple of weeks' time, and this will be another example of where all of our various teams of Rotary service, membership, public image, and leadership and development training can come together and develop programs for all of you as we move forward. We have a lot of special expertise and talent within our district teams, and our intention is to make sure that that expertise continues to flourish. The details of this are currently being consulted upon, and I'll keep you up to date as we move on with the project. In the meantime, if you have any views, please let me know or discuss them in your cluster groups with your assistant governors, and we can then get all of the ideas together and look and see how we take it forward. In summary, my intention is to give you a full menu of learning opportunities delivered in both traditional and innovative ways, which I hope you will find both appealing and informative as we all move forward in our Rotary service. If there are any specific training needs that you or your club have, then please let me know or get in touch via your assistant governor, and we can address those specifically with a club, or more usually perhaps with a cluster of clubs. Now, I think we've probably heard enough talk from me tonight, enough talk from everybody tonight. So I'm going to now finish there and open up the question and answer session, which I think Swati is going to lead for us. So I'm going to say over to you, Swati.
Thank you, Roger. It's been a great evening, lot of information. Some questions have come through, not many, but a few have come through. So I'll put Phil, you on the hot seat first for the next couple of questions.
Okay, thank you.
The first 3 questions are all for Phil. So I'll start with Simon Haresnap. He has got 2 questions. One, first of all, he's saying, is the new membership inquiry system automated from RGBI? Because we once had someone living in the US referred to our club.
Okay, so the easy answer to that is that membership inquiries come from generally 2 sources. One is Rotary International, and they're fed through to Ulster, Rotary Great Britain and Ireland, and then come through to me as a membership chair. And there are some UK generated ones which come through the Global Hub or directly off the Rotary Great Britain and Ireland website. So I'm sure there are some errors, as with all computer systems, and I know there is a Prescott in Arizona with a double T, and there is certainly St Helens is a number of places in America. So I'm sure it's just an administrative error that doesn't get quite picked up, and the best thing to do there is just fire it back to me and I'll shunt it back up the line to Rotary International. I don't think it occurs very often, so there is an element of automation, yes. I hope that answers the question, Simon.
Thank you, Phil. Just to add, there is a Bolton lever in Canada. We found that out as well.
Excellent.
The second question from Simon is again to Phil. Do we have any membership posters for community notice boards?
So there is a number of assets that are available on the brand centre, which are specific to membership. As Irene referred to on the brand centre, you can download those, but I would defer to Public Image. There may be some opportunity where they could assist a particular club with that, but you can edit some information on the brand centre. Again, I hope that helps, Simon.
Okay, Phil, I better keep you on the hot seat because you're the most popular person, it seems like. Next question is from Ravi Mene. He's asking, would establishing new clubs not hemorrhage members from existing clubs?
So the very short answer to that is statistically not, no. So when we've opened up a club, I'm not particularly speaking from a position of strength here, but for example, Worsley and Worsley Bridgewater, there was very few that moved across, and certainly my understanding of other clubs that have been set up in a satellite or e-club format, statistically there is very few that leave from the donor club, the mother club, depending on what you want to call it, to the new club. And usually, again, from statistics, they work well together. So I think it's probably a bit of a myth. I think we're all protective of our own membership, and we think, oh, we don't want to set up another club in Prescott because they'll just nick all our members. Well, I know for a fact if I set up a new club in Prescott, no one would leave Prescott. They're happy where they are, they do what they do, and it sounds like too much like hard work, I would suggest. But that's what they would do. So I think it's something that we worry about that's not evident. Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. You can take a bit of rest now. Moving on to now Irene. Irene has got a couple of questions. Irene, One is coming from Frida Nisi. Frida is asking, will or can there be IT classes for the IT illiterate?
Well, I've not got any planned, but we can certainly give you some hints and tips to get you started. Depends what base level you're at, what you need. You'd obviously, if somebody's here this evening and they're on the Zoom call, you're not illiterate if you're on here in Zoom. If you've got a phone, you've got one of those little phones, you're not IT illiterate. I bet you know what you're doing. You're just getting a bit befuddled maybe with some of the words. I think you're probably far further on than you think. But we can certainly help you out with some tuition.
Moving on to the next question, Irene. This is coming from Pat Rothwell. The question is, Hootsuite, which you mentioned, I never heard it before, sounds interesting, but costs £25 per month. Do you know of any free social media managers?
Yeah, it's Hootsuite. There are a number of these. There are things like Buffer, Hootsuite. They are schedulers. They are social media schedulers. You can schedule them. Hootsuite has a free account, and it's probably one of the best that's out there for the free account. What it will give you is one user, 2 streams. You might just use Twitter or Facebook, and you are limited to the amount of posts. When you start paying your money, you get a certain amount of boosted posts free. There's certain other elements you'll get, but if you want to just get used to scheduling, I would have a go with Hootsuite, and it's Hootsuite, Hootsuite, and you'll get it online. Look at the free version. Don't go straight into the paid. It's £25, then £39, but have a go with it. For one single club, I think if it could take up a lot of your time if only one person is scheduling, but have a go, because you know it will give you a breadth of posts. So have a go with it. I've got really quite used to it. But a top tip with Hootsuite is, if I use Dropbox and I have a paid version of Dropbox because I've got, you know, for all the photographs and all the videos, I keep it on the one place. And when I'm using Hootsuite, I've got Hootsuite open and I've got Dropbox open, and I can just move all my assets right into Hootsuite. I'm not scrabbling about looking for things. And that's a top tip with anything, any of these scheduling you're doing or anything at all. Know where your photographs are, group them. If you've got your Rotary photographs, group them together. It makes life a bit easier. And, you know, create your assets before you start, but have them in a place where you can easily access. I do Hootsuite from a laptop. I don't do it from the phone, but I can access all my Dropbox stuff from the phone. Hootsuite is just much easier with a laptop, that bigger screen. But have a go, absolutely have a go.
Thanks, Irene. The next two actually are comments. It's coming related to membership. Is Edwin Partridge, a member of Haywood 2020. His comment is, establishing a new club in Haywood increased membership in the town from 18 to 31. A similar sort of comment has come from Robert. It says, sorry, it's more or less the same thing. It's the opposite. In a new club, a new club attracts new members who would not join the old one.
Definitely. Totally agree. Absolutely. I think the new club needs to be not made from the existing. It needs to be a completely new entity, and it should be able to develop and grow as it decides whether it wants to be a cause-based club or a particular project-based club, or do whatever it wants to do. It's up to the new club. And like I said earlier, statistically, the movement of members from one club to a number is statistically unproved.
Thank you. The next question is again for Irene from Lee Wool. I use Canva for our graphics, etc. here in Middleton, but I pay a monthly fee. Do you know if they offer a discount scheme for service organizations?
I didn't catch what he was using. So it's Lee and he's using, what is he using?
For our graphics.
Yes, but what is he using? But he said something for his graphics. What platform were you using?
Not mentioned.
Oh,
It's
not
Canva.
mentioned. Oh, my
It's
apologies.
Canva.
Canva.
Oh, it's
Irene.
Canva. Right, I didn't pick that up. Well, Canva's free. I mean, that Canva is free. I don't know. You can get the pro account, and the pro account for charities, you can get a discount and you can get 20% off. It might be worthwhile because the thing about the pro account for Canva is you can download the color palette from Rotary. So you can color correct some of the stuff that's there. It does give you a bit more flexibility, but if you are starting out, again, have a go at Canva, have a go at the free account and play around with it. I've seen some posters that are a bit suspect, and I think this is so easy. You honestly, you can't go wrong with this. You just can't go wrong. Have a go at the free account, but obviously the pro account gives you extras. It's a bit like anything else. You do get extras with it, but it is available as something like 20% off for charities that you can get. Now I think you can go through Rotary and get stuff off, but I also think Canva do something themselves. So I think you can get money off that. I think it's a bit of a rigmarole, but you can get it off, get the money off.
Thank you, Irene. Whilst I've got all the experts here, I'll just throw in my own question, if I may. Will the associate members be counted within each member bring one? Will the associate members be counted in that 100 or whatever the number we need to increase?
No, unless they're paying.
That's a really good question, that, Swati. And you've put me on the spot because I have a suspected answer, which I don't really want to give without me checking it. But I will come back, or I may defer to Eric if he knows.
I think the best thing is I say, Phil will answer that question for you tomorrow night when he's had the chance to go and check it. Perhaps might be a good way to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I think that's what I want to say, but I don't want to say anything until I've checked it, especially in the presence of so many Rotarians this evening. So I will defer till tomorrow night if that's possible, Swati.
Okay, thank you. It's just that we have got sort of upcoming new associate members. So we're thinking, oh, they've already ticked the box. So thank you very, very much, Phil. We don't have any questions, but we have got, what shall I say? It's from Neil Mellon, who's an international chair in Douglas. He's saying, can I be an opportunist and ask, in relation to international endeavors, is anyone involved in assisting the Navajo Nation or any First Nation tribes as a consequence of what they suffered during COVID? Is this something? This is something I'm exploring at the moment. I don't know the answer.
There's no one that I know of, Neil, but there may be. So perhaps if you want to ask people to send you a message directly to your club, which is in Douglas, or to yourself. If you're looking for support from other clubs, perhaps if you want to put a bit of a resume together what you're doing, we could actually circulate that with all of the clubs, maybe generate some interest for you. So we could perhaps generate some interest that might not already be there. If you want to give us a little bit more information, we can certainly spread that around the district for you. Happy to help with that.
I think we don't have any more questions at the moment.
That's great. Thank you very much, Swati. So we're looking quite good on the timing front. We're not going to run over tonight, so that's good. So it just falls to me to say a few final remarks. Just to thank all the presenters tonight. So there's been lots of food for thought, lots of challenges put out to everyone there as well. So take up the challenge, run with it. It's a new year, it's a new dawn. Let's try and do some of this. But remember, as everyone else has said tonight, the district team are here to help you. You're not on your own. We're there to guide you through it. We're there to answer the questions as and when we can. We're there to try and help everyone to move forward. think outside the box, if you use the opportunity that we've got to move Rotary forward, do more to grow more, and all those other things that you've heard tonight. So thank you all for your time tonight. I know you could have been down the beer garden because they're all open tonight. Could you even be inside the pub tonight, couldn't you? But you chose to spend your time with us. So thank you very much for that. I hope you've enjoyed it. Come back tomorrow for episode 2. And the stars of tomorrow night are the Rotary International Director-elect Nicki Scott, who's talking about change and the challenges that face Rotary, and also the Rotary International Philanthropy Chair, which is Eric Schmelling. Join us tomorrow night. And we also have Tony Beckett talking about the youth projects as well tomorrow night. So episode 2, same place, same channel, same time, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Go off and enjoy the rest of the evening, guys, and thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.